On November the 18th, 2017, Mojang would host the very first Minecraft Live, known then as Mike on Earth, in which they would introduce upcoming features and updates such as the aquatic update and the very first official mob vote. A mob vote was seen as a great possibility for the community to come together and vote on various mobs, each with different abilities to be added to the game. However, as we now know, the mob votes do anything but unite the community, as it seems every year the entire community is completely divided regarding the mobs. As for the 2017 vote, 4 mobs are available for choice: the Barnacle, the Phantom, the Great Hunger, and the Hovering Inferno. Along with the names, as a part of Mike on Earth, Jeb provided a brief description on the mobs and reasons for players to vote for them. Mob A, the Monster of the Ocean Depths, was a squid-like creature that resides in deep oceans and pulls the players down with its tentacle. Jeb said that players should vote for it as, at the time, there was little to no content in the oceans and it would make for a challenge when navigating the seas. Mob A's ability to pull players down beneath the ocean's surface was later echoed with magma blocks in the aquatic update. Mob B, the Phantom, was described as a hostile flying mob that would spawn after a player didn't sleep for 3 days. Jeb said that players should vote for it because there were no flying mobs in the overworld, and while the Phantom did end up winning the vote, the community would come to despise it so much so that Minecraft were forced to add the game rule Do Insomnia to stop phantoms from spawning. Mob C, the Great Hunger, is a lizard-like creature that lives in the ground, consuming mobs and items with its large mouth with a, quote, great appetite for enchanting powers. Jeb said that players should vote for Mob C as it allows players to add or remove enchantments to their items, a feature which was later added with the introduction of grindstones at 1.14. Finally, Mob D, the Hovering Inferno, was a type of blaze with shields surrounding its body, and would spawn with groups of blazes and nether fortresses, attacking players with its shockwave attack. Jeb wanted players to vote for the Hovering Inferno as it would make the nether scarier and more exciting. While the Hovering Inferno lost the mob vote, it would be added as a part of Minecraft Dungeons. The vote went as follows: Mob A was eliminated first, followed by the Hovering Inferno, and finally the Great Hunger, with the Phantom winning by 90 votes and being added in the 1.13 aquatic update. Compared to future votes, the 2017 mob vote polled the least, with 2,600 votes in round 1, 4,700 in round 2, and only 2,200 in the final round. As for the 3 mobs that lost, they were never added to the game, and the only way to experience them is with mods. Minecraft Live 2020 on October the 3rd brought back the Minecraft mob vote after 3 years, with players able to vote between 3 mobs that were in Minecraft Dungeons and Minecraft Earth to be added to the base game, being the Moobloom, Isolager, and Glow Squid. Minecraft released 3 unique videos for each of the mobs, explaining what they do and why players should vote for them. Mooblooms would spawn in flower forests, interacting with bees. If they were chosen, buttercups would also be added to the game. Isolagers would spawn in mountains and were hostile mobs who would make for a more challenging exploration experience for players. The glow squids would spawn in oceans as their texture would, well, glow. I would go into the voting, but I'm sure most of us already know how that went. This mob vote would spell the beginning of many debates online surrounding whether Minecraft should continue the mob votes, with many online arguing the mob votes would split the community more than connecting it, which would continue with the 2021 vote. Just like the year before, players could vote between 3 different mobs, with each mob receiving their own video, being the Glare, the Ealot, and the Copper Golem. The vote would poll significantly more votes than any before it, with over 1.2 million players voting in the initial round and 1.1 million voting in the final round. The Glare was described as a small ghost-like mob with the ability to inform players at the light level and whether it was dark enough for mobs to spawn. Evidently, the Glare was by far the least popular, only polling 11.2% of the total votes in round 1, as many believe that it had no use since players could tell the light level by hitting F3 for the debug menu. The Copper Golem would have been a small robot mob created with the recently added copper, and would have been attracted to copper buttons, an item which would have been added to the game if the golem had won. According to Ulraf, a gameplay developer, the golem would have the oxidation removed with either an axe or being struck by lightning. It would have turned into a statue at full oxidation, and many actually did like the idea of the Copper Golem, although it would lose to the Ealot, and just like many of the mobs before it, is only experienced through mods and data packs. packs. Finally, the Ealot, the ultimate winner, was presented as a small flying mob with similar movement to the Vex, although bigger, that could have been given an item and pick up more of that item as long as those items were in the range of loaded chunks. The Ealot drops the items when in range of the player, but can return to a note block that has been played. Leading up to the vote, like many of the possible mobs that came before, many people online were discussing the possibilities of the Ealot and whether or not it would be a good addition to the game. Following its win, many were happy with the results, although as per usual, vote ended in more controversy, causing much debate in the community, a noticeable trend with each of the mob votes that was certain to continue in the future. The mob vote 2022 was a big change from previous votes. Whereas in the past, votes were conducted on Twitter throughout the show, 2022's vote saw players able to vote by joining a specific server on Bedrock Edition, as well as through the Minecraft launcher and Minecraft.net with 48 hours to vote. Just like the previous years, the 3 mobs each received their own video explaining why players could vote for them. The Rascal would have been found in underground areas below Y0 and would give the player hints to its whereabouts, and when found 3 times would reward the player before disappearing. The Rascal would have made exploring underground areas like caves and mineshafts more interesting and engaging, and out of the 3 mobs last year, I preferred the Rascal, but that's just my opinion. Who did you vote for? The Tough Golem was a mob not as recognised as the other 2 last year, only earning 602,000 votes, 17% of the total of over 3.5 million. The most successful mob vote to date. A clear reason the mob vote hit these numbers is because voting for the mobs was so easily accessible for players, as they could simply open the launcher or join a server, no need to create a Twitter account. The Tough Golem was a golem built by the player and would have been a statue that could hold and display an item. It could however wake up and move around with the item or pick up a new one. They could also be customized with a cloak depending on the color of wool the player used when building them. The Sniffer, the ultimate winner by over 1 million votes, is a mob unlike any other in the game. It doesn't spawn naturally, and the only way for a Sniffer to spawn is to be hatched by Sniffer eggs, which are found in underwater ruins. When hatched, Sniffers can find ancient seeds, which can then be grown into types of plants, which also came with a Sniffer in 1.20. Finally, this year's mob vote is almost the same as the last. Mojang presented us with 3 different mobs: the Crab, the Armadillo, and the Penguin, each with their own videos explaining features. The Crab spawns in mangroves, and obtaining their claws gives you an extra block of reach, helpful for building. The Armadillo spawns in savannas and can drop an item important for making armor for dogs. And finally, the Penguin can make boats go faster. Don't think I'll be voting for that one, just scratch it off the list. While these mobs are all great in their own ways, the community still remains divided. Many have expressed their wish for Mojang to just add all 3 mobs to the game, improving ambience to the savannas, mangrove swamps, and oceans with its additions, while others are just against the mob vote altogether, as it brings more division than unity. To give my 2 cents, I think using the community to decide what to add to Minecraft is a great idea, but the vote brings about more bad than good. So, is there a solution? Well, I believe that adding all 3 mobs isn't a bad idea, as they can all add to help ambience to their respective biomes. Whatever mob wins the vote would be implemented first and could get some sort of extra features for winning, while other mobs would follow in future updates. All that being said, I will be voting for the Armadillo.